When I was younger, I loved Skylanders. I thought it was fun and cool. I remember partially wanting a Wii U specifically so I could play real superchargers. I might get to you later. I wanted to do a retrospective of the franchise because it's been a huge part of my life, kinda. Hasn't changed me, but I've played it a lot. I would do a Toys to Life retrospective, but I didn't play the other series that much. I'm missing everything from LEGO Dimensions besides the game. Disney Infinity, I have the 3DS version, which is totally not Mario Party. Also, I'm going to be playing the Wii and Wii U versions of this game because that's what I have. Skylanders didn't start out as Skylanders, it began as Spyro's Kingdom, one of the attempts to make Spyro relevant again. They never seemed to work. Reese, the founders of Toys to Bob, who were poised to make this new Spyro game, was experimenting with technology in toys and games. While developing the game, they asked for more times. They said, toys and game equal money. Got extra time and ended up making Skylanders. Alright, let's play the game. Alright, we need to plug in the portal, then play. I don't use the original portal because the Trap Team one works with all games. Is that game good? Honestly, the tile scrolling is really good. I really like it. It's got an adventurous atmosphere while also being calm. I reckon the game has a pretty good soundtrack. Now, time to play the game. Skylanders has gone to crap due to Moxie Chaos destroyed the core of light, keeping the darkness at bay, and you're called upon by Patrick, Warburton, and Huggo to come back. Not you, silly. You're the portal master who summons these guys. Go restore the core of light and defeat Chaos. It's a pretty basic plot, honestly, but I don't care. I like Mario. So anyway, time to go defeat Huh? Yeah, so these buggers and Snuggles, these are toys to lure people into this game. The original set got packed with Spyro, Snuggles, and Grill Grunt. Spyro is broken because stepping on them kinda breaks them. In their base, they've got a near-field communication chip, or an NFC chip, which stores info and can be read by the portal. You have to see this animation with random voice lines every time for every character. It's not annoying to me, but it may be for others. Skylanders has pretty simple gameplay. Move, attack 1, attack 2, and that's it. No jump button, which people may find strange, but I personally don't mind. These levels don't need jumping. There are a few bounce pads which could be removed with a jump, but Skylanders is a puzzle action game. All the puzzles are quite simple because 6-year-olds. But I'm bad at puzzles, so it doesn't mind me too much. It's also a kid's beat 'em up, so that means most of the time. I find that Skylanders do well, you kinda need to have some strategy, especially the spell punks. Most of the time, kill them ASAP. Some people would probably find the combat repetitive, but personally, I don't mind. There are new enemies all the time. Some enemies are essentially repeats, so Chompy and these guys are essentially model swap. This is really nice, and they have a description for each the first time you see them, which is pretty cool. The levels generally do have a string of 2 or 3 levels with similar themes, but they always try to make each level look distinct. These are the 2 tree levels. And these are the most similar ones in the game, besides maybe the underworld ones. It feels like they're trying to make each level feel unique, which I really like. Each level is quite linear. There aren't any altering paths or backtracking. If backtracking was required, it would have just looped around, which is probably a good thing. There is very little actual exploration you can do. The most exploration you can really do is find these little gateway things designated to the type of Skylander based on their element. These are just little challenges. Whenever I play Skylanders, I always go and complete all these. Why? I just find them fun. They're simple, not too much of a challenge, but I don't mind. They're just kind of fun. From these gates, you get collectibles. These collectibles go towards how many stars you get. You must find all of these in a level to get one of them. You can get legendary treasure. They give you some gold and nothing else. A treasure chest, which give you gold, so it's just legendary treasure, but there's more of them. Hatch, you can make your Snuggles into an ultra Super Saints, yeah, and adds a small buff to your character. Story scrolls, which give you lore, so then you can become game theory. These collectibles aren't always hidden or behind these gates. Sometimes they are literally right in your path in the level. The story scrolls are the worst offender of this. I find these most commonly in very easy spots, which is lame. I reckon they should have gotten rid of some of the chests because there's generally like 3 or more per level. The stars don't mean anything, it's just for completionist's sake. There is another star for doing stuff like being a level in a certain time or finding areas, which is hard to get mainly because you at least have to go through a level a second time just for the speedrun alone. I just remembered and totally didn't plan this ahead of time to make a good transition at all. No, but you can also get soul gems, which are trailers for certain characters that give you access to a special upgrade. These upgrades are done by Persephone, a fairy. Wow. Why did I say wow? You just buy these with gold and they enhance your moveset, which make you feel like you're getting stronger over time without leveling up like you do. You can also unlock another move which you can pull off. After 4 upgrades, you get to pick one of 2 paths. This is pretty neat because you get to pick what you invest in, but you'll most likely pick the same thing every time. Also, you probably just use your basic moveset most of the time because you'd like to make that stronger. I said move. I really like the boss battles in this game, mostly in concept. The execution I reckon should have been a bit better, but they're still good. For most boss battles you fight chaos summoning, I don't know, minions I think he calls them, but they're essentially just the different Skylanders of a specific type, and you have a duel against them. If you're playing with a friend, 1v2, which is a bit unfair, but oh well. Then afterwards you get a barrage. I guess you'd call it an attack from chaos? Sure. Anyway, after you defeat 3 of these guys, you fight all 3 of them at once, with chaos attack hazards coming in after there's 2 left. I have 2 issues with this. One, you get healed after you kill each guy, which isn't so bad at first, but makes fighting 3 at a time significantly easier, which is disappointing. And chaos blabs for ages. He won't shut up after you kill one of these guys or survive an attack. I skip most dialogue in this game because unlike RPGs or adventure games, it really doesn't matter if you read it. I find a lot of the dialogue lasts a good while too. This isn't a type of game where I want to listen to the story, except Arbo. He's cool, but the talking takes me out of the fight a bit. He should have said like a sentence or 2, but especially after the first fight, the dialogue should have been kept to a minimum. The music is good in the fight as well. I believe most of the levels are good, with 4 exceptions. All the undead underworld stuff isn't that fun. I don't like the aesthetic, and at least for one of them, never really feel like I'm actually progressing. This level also seems to have a bit of a difficulty spike for some reason. I believe that's because they start ramming up the damage your enemies do to you, because Christ! This could also just be me, but I feel like these are harder than Warzone. There's also this dark bit in the first underworld level which sucks, and I couldn't find a bloody bomb to get to the end of the level. The last one with the boss fight is probably the best of the 3, but has a massive, completely optional section, which is strange. There's also this arcane one, which I'm not the biggest fan of at first. It's still okay, but I don't know, I guess I don't like it aesthetically. But then you get to this robot section in chapter 21, and oh boy, this sucks. It's slow, boring, and lasts forever, like 6 minutes, but it feels like forever. And the level afterwards is a small island, which isn't great either. I think my problem with these is just I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. That might be it, I'm not sure. Anyway, hopefully the future games don't bring this robot back. The hub world is really good. You have a core of light, which is cool. As you progress, the time of day changes to make the hub world feel more visually interesting every time you visit the core of light. The entire thing's always getting changed and because it's getting fixed, which is good because that's what you're doing, you're fixing it. The entire map feels connected to each other. You're either taking a bridge or going on a ship or up a tree to your next location, which I really like. Makes the world feel more connected instead of just flying to each of them like you do at the start of the game. You also have character-based heroic challenges where you do little missions based on the maps already in the game. These aren't that great. Skylanders decides to have different gameplay styles which ranges from good to boring. Shooting. It's kind of just hold down a button and aim to win. It isn't hard at all. It's okay. Little in-betweens at the hubs. Yeah, these aren't that great and kind of boring. Like I like them trying to break up the gameplay a bit, but I just don't enjoy them. Robot! Little turning guy puzzle. I like these ones. They're like simple mobile game like puzzles without the ads. I like them. I like this funny little guy who doesn't talk and just makes garbled sounds, and that is a fact. Do not point out the fact he does, because I like pretending he's just a funny little guy. Right before you fight the final boss, you have a really difficult level before which I struggle with. It's short and most of the enemies are just the really strong, hard-hitting ones that can come into packs of up to 4. Afterwards you do get Skylanders healed though, which is pretty cool. The final boss is very mixed for me, but I think it's on the positive side. The fight I really like. It's a combination of chaos slamming down and all the previous fight. I did this in 2-player and the boss fight goes by in about 10 minutes, which is a lot. Anyway, he has 2 major phases. One where he summons his clones and uses these serpent things to summon his attacks from the other boss fight. This is a bit too similar from the regular fights, but it's still more difficult. But what are these serpents? I guess they're kinda cool, but just kind of appear for a final fight for this game. And spoilers, I guess, for next games, they don't appear at all. They also just seem out of place. Anyway, phase 2 is a combination of the serpent attacks while chaos slams down. This part's really great. The fight is kind of difficult, which is great, but it's a bit underwhelming considering the level right before is so difficult, and this also feels more combined than the first phase did. After you defeat him, you send him to Africa to become a toy. The end. I really forgot you could buy level packs which give you extra levels, and I have one. Schooner. It's not that great. Honestly, this game doesn't feel like a game where Activision and Toys to Bob hit the make a game that would make money switch. It felt like there was actual passion in this game, and they wanted to make it the best they could. It may have been because it was originally a Spyro game, and really wanted to make it, but still, that's impressive for a game with this marketing gimmick. Skylanders is a flawed game, but I still love it. Still only think it's like a 7 out of 10, but it's a game I respect a lot. After Activision saw the success of this game, they decided to make this a yearly series. Hopefully they were able to keep up the same quality and care for Giants as this game. Why are you still here? I'm only covering Spyro's adventure today. Go away.